Hi, this is Dimitris Pronovsky, author of the Curious Tanguero newsletter and tango books like Tangofulness, Tango Tips by the Maestros, and the tango novel When the Embrace Whispers. Today, I'll read a few excerpts from Tango Tips by the Maestros, hoping you'll find them useful, and maybe even check out the book on Amazon. It's available in English, Spanish, and Italian, with more languages coming soon. You can also find it on Audible as audiobook. You can also find it on Audible as audiobook. Let's get started. Why learn technique to dance tango if tango is a social dance? Dancing tango is an act of generosity, and it is necessary to have the knowledge and control of your body in order to be able to hug your partner respectfully. The more you understand yourself, the better you can be in this dancing relationship. As it is in life, so it is in tango. Tango leads to a deep bodily connection, I would say even a connection on a cellular level. You have to be responsible and conscious to be able to hug and flow with another body that has been delivered to you in trust. You must be able to take care of that body as much as yours. Learning technique in order to be able to handle your body inside the space of the embrace is the first act of love a tango dancer must undertake to be part of the philosophy that the art of tango proposes, that of being with another person. Technique or form, form or technique. The Bonaventura Method is the result of years of experience, research, deepening, understanding, and then reposing questions and re-understanding. Today, I can say that the form is not the technique, and that tango has its technique because tango is a complete and complex dance that can be categorized as a discipline. By this, I mean that it has a complex set of motor knowledge, a subtle mechanism, a communication code based on sensibility and sensitivity, and a body organization that needs to be learned in the purest and most essential way possible. Once you have learned the technique, you can start looking for the form and not vice versa. And here begins the discussion about who has the truth, nobody and everyone. Now, I have to explain what my method is. My method is not style. It is an attitude towards tango, an attitude of respect, love, and care in its essence. It is a way to dive in and transmit the fundamentals with their micro and macro evolutions. In the transmission of tango, nothing is standardized. Everything is handmade. The Bonaventura Method is a coherent whole that guides the student to a complete and complex understanding of tango, which does not reduce its richness or depth, but conveys and helps its physical and emotional comprehension. The method does not simplify tango because this kills it, but rather x-rays it, analyzes it compartmentally, dives into it, and gives it a new arsenal. In its synthesis are its thesis and antithesis. We dive through all its layers, its corners, its powers, and its weaknesses. The method plunges into tango and its mysteries, constantly working to make the invisible visible. We put on the tango cape, but we are not its owners. The method is for free students, protagonists of the learning process, and owners of what they learn, aiming to be able to express themselves without limits. The method seeks to prepare appropriate dancers of emotionally intelligent, musically poetic, and sensitive bodies, organized biomechanically and functionally prepared for a dance of total improvisation. From the deep understanding and grasp of the fundamentals, the method teaches the possibilities and not the limits of the movements. If you're curious to find out more about the method, check the links on the reader's online environment. The philosophy of the roles in tango. To inhabit any of the two roles that constitute tango as a dance of deep encounter, one must start from a state of active availability. It is a philosophy of the encounter, understanding that the roles are not unequally important, but that they are only two essential, non-hierarchical and complementary roles that allow tango to be, to exist. While dancing, we are not one, but we create something that transcends us. Becoming one means that one person imposed on the other, and that is not tango. Tango is the freedom of two beings that meet and in a state of availability and profound generosity, co-create in relation to the music and each other, in a game where the roles change according to the creative process and circumstances. This superior experience that the tango couple creates is more, and at the same time, less than the sum of its parts. It is more because we can empower ourselves, and it is less, not from a negative place, but from a place of delivery, where part of my individualism should be put at the service of everything, should be delivered. Note of the editor: the word delivered is a loose translation of the words entregar and entregada, which has the meaning of consciously giving part of ourselves to the other person, be it our trust, our sense of self, or something else that is part of our identity. It is a beautiful word, and we haven't figured out a translation that encapsulates its complete meaning. The roles are what they are. The important thing is how I play my role. I can be an empathic leader and a despotic follower. The roles are a constitutive part of this dance, but the significance they acquire will depend on the dancers that occupy them. The posture and the resignificance of corporality. What does posture mean in tango? The posture seeks to be functional when dancing as a couple, beautiful because it is art, and healthy because it seeks not to be hurt and not to hurt. The posture is the way to organize the body segments with respect to a base of support in relation to external and internal forces, gravity and inertia, in the environment of the embrace. This environment of the embrace changes the meaning of corporality in space, because it is no longer just me in that space, but it is the couple. Myself is a part of the couple. I cannot think about my posture without the hug and without my body in relation to the other. The posture in tango is also the state of availability necessary to be part of this whole that empowers and transcends us. That is why this posture has to go with me and with the other and with me, and it has to do it with structure and flexibility. Everything in life needs structure to create order, to guide and not to limit, and flexibility to allow, not to disorient and not to create chaos. This means that my posture in tango will always be in relation to the other, maintaining that delicate balance of not losing myself in the other and not being so rigid that it does not allow me to merge into the other. Within the structure of the embrace, it is important to find the necessary flexibilities to connect with each person without losing the basal state of the frame, while maintaining the connection which is necessary for communication. In our Western culture, we chase results. This in tango does not work. What works is the present, inhabiting it, feeling it, generating it, so that the result is the ephemeral concretion to the next present moment. The here and now of my embrace is essential to connect with the person with whom I dance, and not with an ideal that is in my imagination but does not exist in the present of our meeting. The mystery of musicality in tango. For me and Leticia Salgado, musician-pianist, the mystery of musicality has to do with being able to inhabit music. Tango as soul, its expressive potential, lies in what Leticia and I call inhabiting the music. That is, to be able to dance it without chasing it, or without feeling overwhelmed by all the auditory stimuli that occur simultaneously when a tango plays on the dance floor: rhythm, melody, counter-melody, accompaniment, etc. This is where the challenge is. How can we use our bodies to channel emotion? How can we express music's intangible qualities with our bodies? How can we approach music so that it plays on our side and not against us? We believe that this is possible through a corporal musical analysis, with concrete tools, so that we develop a corporal musical topography, so that the dance does not lose the deep nuances and the atmospheric characteristic of each tango. Finding the meeting point between these two worlds, that of music and dance, the tango dancer will be able to understand how volume and sound dynamics naturally have an impact on body movement. What in music sounds more piano, soft, or forte, strong? The so-called dynamic in music, for example, translates into a maximum or minimum body tone. This has a natural default impact on the way a body moves, thus creating a dynamic body range. Through this progressive training of the musical body, the dancer will transcend the simple vice of making steps, limiting himself, herself, to describing more or less successful movements and ignoring all the expressive charge that music grants. To inhabit the music, you need to go through the technique while the dancer's body is present in all its facets: muscular tone, embrace, connection with the partner, intention, support, perception of horizontality and verticality during its interpretation of tango. You need to make decisions on the dance floor beyond technical virtuosity, and above all, you need to reflect back all poetry and emotionality in the music. From her own personality, the interpretation of the dancer will be circular, back and forth with the music, extracting the music-dance communion from its true origins. If you enjoyed what you learned in this episode, visit tangotipsbythemaestros.com to explore all available languages, or simply search Tango Tips by the Maestros on Amazon. Also, if you found this episode helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with your friends. For a curated list of free and paid resources to help you improve and enjoy your tango, go to thecurioustanguero.com/ArgentinaTango. I've put together a list just for you. I'll say it again: thecurioustanguero.com/ArgentinaTango. And remember to smile. You've discovered tango. Most people haven't. What a gift.